Hello everyone, Spit here, back in with our Marvel content champion. Today we're going over another champion concept, this one being for Luna Snow. And so yeah, after Marvel Rivals, I think a lot of people are really wanting Luna Snow to come to the game. But unfortunately, I don't think that will ever happen because while she is a Marvel character, she was created by NetEase, which are the people who made Future Fight. And I don't know if Kabam would want to put in like NetEase's original characters, even though they are kind of like official Marvel characters, into their game. But I just think it'd be so cool if they did. Luna Snow has just increased in popularity, and yeah, I just think she'd be really cool if she got added to this game. And as always, these are purely fan made and are not official, leaked, real, etc. This was just for fun. And my goals for the champion: she's going to have these dark ice debuffs. She's going to have a lot of disintegration and Coldsnap based damage, which, I mean, we don't really have a lot of characters in this game that deal Coldsnap based damage. It's really just like I almost said Hawkeye. It's mostly just Iceman, Arcus, and Serpent, and I can't really think of anyone else that does Coldsnap damage or like a lot of Coldsnap damage. And then disintegration, I think there's really just like Future Ant-Man. I can't think of another character that actually applies disintegration. But yeah, definitely would make her a more unique champion, and no one in the game is immune to disintegration, so that's really cool. And she's also going to have a healing ice pre-fight, and of course, dance moves. But we'll get to the dance moves in a bit. But first, her class, so she's going to be Science. And yeah, for those who don't know, if you think she's a mutant, she's not. She got her powers from, so AIM was attacking her concert, and so she got trapped in this, I can't remember what it was called, but I'm going to just summarize and be like, she got her powers from this, like a fridge, or this ice box. And so yeah, malfunctioned and gave her some ice powers. So yeah, that's how she got her powers. So she had definitely a Science champion. And of course she is a hero, size small. And this isn't a tag yet, but I think if she got added along with some of her, like the other Agents of Atlas, they would get the Agents of Atlas tag. So characters like Swordmaster, who is actually the Iron Fist in Marvel Rivals. That's Swordmaster. He's part of Agents of Atlas. Got Brawn, who's Amadeus Cho's Hulk. And then there's this character White Fox, who's pretty cool. Yeah, I actually really like Agents of Atlas. A really cool team of like more recent characters. Like, a lot of more recent characters kind of been, ass or lame, but Agent of Atlas is kind of one of the standouts in like that sense of recent characters. So yeah, pretty cool team. But anyway, getting into Luna Snow's abilities, we have her always active. Also, by the way, Luna Snow is probably my most complex character that I've created any of these concepts for. We got a lot to go over. She's got a lot of abilities, and I think I was really enjoying crafting this character and crafting this kit. And so yeah, I've definitely learned a lot from making this, and going forward, you're going to see a lot more complexity and something you can really, like, in my opinion, it's like something you could really like expect to see, or like you can imagine it in game. But yeah, enough talking up my own ass. Let's go into her always active. So Luna's esoteric ice powers grant her full immunity to bleed. Because I'm thinking about like, yeah, if she ever gets like cut, she could kind of just like freeze it, and like she would no longer be bleeding. So I kind of just gave her a full immunity to bleed, and additionally she is granted 100% frostbite, cold temp, and disintegration resistance. And so yeah, I decided to go with the resistance because it's just better to have a resistance than an immunity in like 90-95% of the time, just so you can get some willpower healing. And also, whenever she would be inflicted by these effects, she gains a lit passive. Lit passives gained this way can exceed the cap. So we'll get into lit passives in a second, but yeah, they are going to be really, really helpful and really crucial to her rotation. And because they are so powerful, and Cold Snap and Disintegration and Frostbite, they're kind of more of a rare ability, or like, yeah, rare ability in champions that we talked about before. And let alone, purposely getting yourself to be inflicted with one of these debuffs or like negative effects. It's going to put you, like, you're definitely risking a lot. So definitely a lit passive is a nice reward if you play that way, or just happen to get one of these effects on you. It's really nice, and they're going to be super, super helpful once we get into her special attacks. But yeah, lit passives, really good. And she also comes into play with a unique ability called the Idle Runway. So Luna Snow sets the stage, creating a runway across the entire stage. This runway increases Luna Snow's combat power rate by up to 35% the closer she is to her side of the stage. So Luna Snow is actually going to be a very unique character where you kind of want to play passive, or at least you want to play on your side of the stage. Because in my mind, when I was thinking about it, is like, well, if you're going to a concert, you want to go to Luna Snow. Like, that's where most of the things is going to happen. So I thought it'd be a really cool ability to kind of like benefit you from playing on her side of the stage, because, you know, it's like you're bringing the opponent to your concert. And she gets a really nice benefit by having up to 35% ability, or not ability accuracy, combat power rate, which is going to allow her to throw more specials, which you will see is going to be really nice and is going to allow her to ramp super, super quickly. Because going along with her Sub-Zero Cryostasis ability, she's going to have a sort of temperature, kind of like Human Torch, but it's going to be in reverse. Because instead of raising the temperature, you want to bring that temperature down. And over the course of the fight, Luna Snow opponent will experience freezing temperatures. This starts at 0, but passively decreases as they are afflicted with a negative effect, and for each tick damage they take from Luna's personal damaging effects. So this will decrease with any of her negative, like personal negative effects. So things like parry and stuff like that will decrease the temperature. And temperature will increase over time when temperature is not decreased for 1.5 seconds. So once again, you can easily stop the decay, or I guess the increase, just by parrying. So that's going to be really nice to help her, you know, if you aren't able to put on a lot of debuffs very quickly, you could start just by, you know, going for some parries. And when reaching max negative temperature, the opponent enters Sub-Zero for 10 seconds. And so Sub-Zero is pretty darn good. This is where you're going to be doing most of your burst damage. So when an opponent is in Sub-Zero, they suffer -X energy resistance, and they could give the opponent negative energy resistance. Luna Snow pauses Sub-Zero for 0.5 seconds when inflicting a personal negative effect. Once again, this could trigger with parry. And when Sub-Zero ends, temperature is reset to 0. But there's a lot you can do to pause it, and once we get into the Awakened ability, you'll see that you can retain some temperature when it's lost. So, yeah. This is kind of like, and like I said, this is where like most of her burst, like you're ramping up so you can enter Sub-Zero, and then you can deal massive damage with your special attacks, and it's just going to be really good. Okay, so now we get to what these lit passives do, and 4 lit stardom. So Luna Snow gains 4 lit passes whenever she knocks the opponent down with a unique attack. So the heavy attack, and then special 1, 2, and 3. These are permanent and are not affected by ability accuracy reduction, and max out at 4 stacks because you can only gain 1 lit passive once for each knockdown. So that's 4 knockdowns. You can gain up to 4. But like I said, if you remember before, she can gain lit passives when being inflicted with Coldsnap, Frostbite, and disintegration. Oh my god, my speech impediment is gonna fucking kill me. This concept. But yeah, lit passives have no effects. Which hold on, they come into play. Very important. Next slide, we'll learn about special attacks, and you'll see why the lit passes are very, very important, and why you probably want to start off each fight getting all your lit passes. So you want to go for your heavy attack, and then 1, 2, and then finally get that 3rd or the 4th lit passive, and then yeah, you're going to be doing some pretty nutty stuff. But before we get into that, her basic attacks. So Luna Snow's basic attacks have a 50% chance to inflict the opponent with a Frostbite passive for X seconds, dealing X damage when they expire. And when Frostbite expires, they decrease temperature and can pause Sub-Zero for 0.2 seconds. So if you have a big burst of these, or a big bunch of Frostbites that expire all at once, you can pause Sub-Zero for like a whole second. And yeah, while intercepting, when Luna Snow intercepts the opponent's dash while her back is against the wall, she detonates all current Frostbites on the opponent for an additional +X energy damage. And when detonating Frostbite this way, she regenerates X% of missing health per Frostbite. So yeah, you could definitely see that this could be probably a little bit harder to do, but it's not necessary whatsoever. You're just going to be missing out on some extra burst damage and a little bit of health gain back. But yeah, if you are a skilled player, you will definitely be rewarded with your skill. And for her heavy attack, we got another like nice little niche bit of utility here, where Luna Snow starts singing while charging her heavy attack, And while singing, Luna Snow reduces power gain ability accuracy by minus 100%. And if a power gain is prevented, she inflicts an instant cold snap on the opponent, dealing X damage. And I forgot to write this down, but of course that would also decrease temperature. Now for her pre-fight, so healing cryokinesis. Man, these are some complex words that my ape brain cannot process speaking. But yeah, Luna Snow starts each quest with 1 persistent charge, and for each hero on the team, she gains an additional charge. I would have put like hashtag Agents of Atlas, but there's just no Agents of Atlas in this game, so yeah, just for hashtag hero, she gains an additional charge. And these can be spent in the pre-fight menu and grant a cross-fight abilities to the next champion who enters the fight. So with Soothing Beats, which costs 1 charge, Luna Snow places her Restorative Light Ice onto herself or an ally. This grants them a regen buff that heals them 5% of their max health at the beginning of a fight. This regen would be paused if they would be at full HP. So, you know, if you're just entering it for the first time, you kind of just have like a free. It's like almost you have 105% of your health, if that makes sense. Because you know it's kind of like how the Destroyer, once he's awakened, he'll pause his power gain if he's at 3 bars of power, just so it doesn't waste power. I thought that would be pretty cool to incorporate into Luna Snow's kit. So yeah, you don't want to waste your regen, so it's paused if you're at max health. And now also she has Freezing Sonata, which also costs 1 charge, and this gives Luna Snow or her ally the Incinerate immunity, which is pretty nice. It could definitely make some characters really good for certain fights, and just all around pretty good to just be able to get an extra immunity. Alright, now for the special one. This is where the 4 lit passives come into play, and where you're definitely going to see why you want to get as many of them as possible, as quickly as possible. So, Luna Snow creates a bunch of ice shards to which she throws at the opponent. So each ice shard inflicts the opponent with a cold snap debuff, dealing X damage over X seconds for each lit passive she has on her. So yeah, you definitely want to start off the fight with getting all of your lit passive. You want to start the fight with a heavy attack to get that additional, we'll get that first one. Then you want to go for probably the special 2, I would say, and then the special 1, and then the special 3. Just so that your special 1, you want to use the special 2 first, just so your special 1 puts on more debuffs. And then you want to go for your special 3, but we'll get to that in a second. And then for her special 2, Luna Snow creates a series of ice platforms that she rides into the opponent. So I think visually that would just be pretty cool. But what it does is Luna Snow converts all cold snaps into dark ice passives, which deal X energy damage over X seconds, and drains X% of the opponent's power per second. Now, for each % of the opponent's power that is drained by dark ice, the opponent is afflicted with a disintegration passive dealing X damage over X seconds. So yeah, you could definitely see that if the more cold snaps you're able to put on the opponent, the more dark ice passive you can put on the opponent, and then the more power that you'll drain, and then the more disintegration. So there's a lot of damage that turns into more damage. And now going into the special 3. So for this animation, Luna Snow starts putting on a show, and the opponent is vibing and having a good time. Then Luna Snow puts the spotlight onto the opponent and hits them with a blizzard of ice shards. So Luna Snow decreases the enemy's temperature by -X, and if Sub-Zero is active or would be active because of the special 3, it becomes paused for 10 seconds. So with the special 3, you could just flat out have a Sub-Zero that is 20 seconds long that you can also continue to pause. So you could probably keep up this Sub-Zero for probably like 25 seconds, like minimum. And so yeah, that can be pretty crazy because, you know, in Sub-Zero, they're going to be taking a lot more energy damage, and she primarily deals energy damage. So she's going to be pretty nutty if you go for this special 3. And not only that, Luna Snow refreshes all negative effects on the opponent, and she gains 3 Frost Shield passives. Frost Shields grant her +X block proficiency and deal X energy damage to the opponent based on their modified attack rating when her block would be struck. Now, she also loses a Frost Shield if her block is struck, unless it's a well-timed block. So, as long as you keep your parries, like you keep your parrying and you don't like mistime a block, you can pretty much guarantee that you have some pretty strong block proficiency. And yeah, so that's her kit. Now let's get into the Awakened ability. So these are where the dance moves comes from. So K-pop dance coordination. When Sub-Zero expires, temperature resets to -20 to -75 instead of 0, depending on the SIG level. Also, Luna Snow is a talented dancer and can now use that in her fights across the battle realm. Using special combos grants her abilities. So light, medium, Luna Snow gains a non-stacking perfect block buff at X% potency for X seconds. And then if you do light, medium, Luna Snow gains a non-stacking bright spark buff for X seconds, which increases the potency of energy-based damaging effects by plus X to X% depending on your SIG level. And then lastly, if you do light, medium, light, Luna Snow inflicts the opponent with a wither debuff at X to X% potency for X seconds depending on SIG level. So yeah, there's definitely a lot here that you, if you get her awakened, you got a nice bit of utility here with these unique attacks that you would probably have to learn, and you just gotta keep cycling all 3 of these combos, and you can keep up these pretty good effects. And yeah, we're not ending it there. I'm deciding to bring back Synergies, because Synergies can be really fun to make, and they could really, I just like making Synergies. I miss making Synergies, and it really makes the characters feel more like a whole, and makes them feel more completed. And also, I just thought of, mainly it's because I just thought of the synergy for Luna Snow while I was making her. I was like, God, I have to have it. I have to bring Synergies back in case I have anything else, any more sparks of genius as I did right now. Because this first synergy is called Song of Ice and Fire. And I mean, Luna Snow is a singer. She has ice-based power. So Song of Ice and Fire, teaming her up with some fire-based characters. Also, if you don't know, Song of Ice and Fire is a Game of Thrones reference. And I mean, you have the main character Jon Snow and Luna Snow. I mean, come on, guys. You can't like write this. So I just had to make this a synergy. And so what this does is when facing a Mystic Champion, Luna Snow starts the fight with, or the opponent starts the fight with -25 temperature instead of 0. For Human Torch, Incinerates now inflict a passive Scorch Mark for 6 seconds. Scorch Marks explode, dealing a burst of X Incinerate damage when the corresponding Incinerate would be removed or purified prematurely. So this could actually make Human Torch being a viable champion against certain like skill champions like Zemo, Shield, characters like that can purify, or Mole Man. So that can make him pretty cool. It adds like a new cool effect called Scorch Mark, which pretty cool name, if I do say so myself. Sunspot. This actually can make Sunspot pretty good and allows him to ramp higher with less stress, because whenever he spends a solar charge or solar flare charge, he now has a 40% chance to gain a solar flare charge back. So yeah, it's pretty darn good. And if you have him awakened, it just allows for his potential to ramp even higher. And for Ghost Rider, while suffering from 3 or more judgments, the opponent suffers a burst of degen whenever they would dash forwards or backwards. So it's kind of like what's the thing Kate Bishop has? Is like Caltrops. It's basically that, but with degen instead of bleed damage. And then the second synergy is Pop Star Support. So Luna Snow, Dazzler, and Jubilee all gain an indefinite crossfight Encore passive each time they win a fight. All Encore is lost though when they would be knocked out, and Encore increases special 2 damage by plus 10%, and this can stack up probably indefinitely. I wouldn't say indefinitely, but like, I didn't put a cap down, so it's indefinitely for right now. But that would definitely be pretty crazy for Dazzler. Like, this is definitely a synergy you want to run in incursions, and will just make Dazzler an absolute powerhouse. But yeah, even with a cap, I mean, just like, she deals a bazillion damage with her special 2. So, you know, what's like 10% or 20% of a bazillion? It's probably still going to be a bazillion, you know what I'm saying? But her last synergy is Chilling Backup. So, Luna Snow, Iceman, Emma Frost, and Silver Surfer. All synergy members, when they would be inflicted with a debuff, they gain 10% of their max power at an 8-second cooldown. So yeah, that's Luna Snow. Again, going to be making my... I'm going to continue to make my concepts, you know, more complex and things you could imagine them being in game right now. Because yeah, champion design is like so complex. You got all these characters with unique things to them. It's no longer like what the champion design was like back then, where you hit the opponent, sometimes you gain a fury. So if you take damage, you sometimes gain an armor. You got fully. You really are just playing like the Marvel character. And I kind of want to emulate that in my concepts more. And yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one. And yeah, you can expect to see the more complexity you see here and my future concepts. And yeah, synergies are coming back. I'm so excited. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Let me know any other characters you want me to create concepts for in the future, as well as buffs, because I also do buff concepts, and I'll be doing a buff concept next week because I switch. I go back and forth with a champion concept and a buff concept. So yeah, see you next Thursday for a concept video. Bye-bye. Or goodbye.